Be ready.
Don't experiment here. This is the second one of these that we've done, but it still says initializing. So I'm just going to hope that
I
we're
think we're
on.
live now.
Okay. All right. There we go. There we go. It's recording now. Okay. Well, this is exciting. The technology worked. We're 2 for 2 with,
Yay!
and we're using the platform in our community. In the circle community. So those who are in our community for nonprofit consultants will see it live, and then it's recording. And then if we like it, we'll share it on LinkedIn with whoever else wants to see. And I'll upload this to our YouTube channel. But basically, we are here in our Meet the Mastermind series with Katalyst Meet the Mastermind series. And this was an idea that came about several months ago. Just sort of once I was seeing the engagement I was getting on LinkedIn, I was like, how can I use this platform to really bring the brilliance of the people that I get to work with almost every day as part of our Katalyst consultant community to whoever out there cares to listen and watch this thing. And so that's what this is, Meet the Mastermind series. So we're inviting anyone from our Katalyst community who wants to go live with us to share a little bit about themselves, their experience, their journey, and just sort of help people be inspired to see that this is something either that they can do or just answer some questions to curiosities that they might have. So our first one was with the lovely Elizabeth Silic LaRue, who is part of our community. She's one of our OGs from day one. And we're here today with Jolea Payne, who joined us several months ago. I don't remember when, but you've been just a really, and I don't even know. So how'd you find out about us? That'd be a good thing for me to know. Maybe this can be market research for me too.
Well, you and I actually go back before I joined.
I don't even remember. Tell me how.
Yes, before I joined. So your name, I'll tell you who mentioned you, Jess Campbell with Out in the Boom.
Wow. Oh, I love Jess. Jess is the best. Out in the Booms. Yep.
Yep. And she was like, you should talk to Camila. I was like,
okay, I remember now.
Yeah. And she actually connected us, and you and I had a really good conversation. You shared with me then about the Katalyst community. I wasn't ready to join at that time. But then I came back. I think I joined
sometime this year. It's all coming back to me now. Like my brain is generally a blur. But yeah.
I actually think I might have joined like November.
Oh, okay. All right.
Something like that. End of last year, I think. I could be wrong, but it's been a few months. And so that's how that all happened. And it's been really useful to have just a supportive community, of women who get it. Like right. we're all in it together, and just it's exciting to have somewhere to go to bounce ideas and, for thought partnership and to rant. And
yeah, that's real life.
That's real life, the coaching, is really super helpful. And I will say though that the best value I've gotten out of the group is opportunities.
I was going to say, because we were just talking about this before we went on about a shout out Meredith. What's up, Meredith? In the group, who's been kind of this secret like matchmaker. But I love to hear it, and I say all the time, y'all gonna get tired of me saying it, but number one goal of mine is for us never to have to hustle for work again. So
yeah, no, it's been doing it's doing the thing. If you need to be affirmed in that right now, I am letting you know that it's giving what you want it to give.
That's really good.
Because so Meredith posted an opportunity in the group for a development consultant for an organization she was working with, and I responded, and she's been absolutely phenomenal in helping to cultivate that relationship and bring work into my space. And also, I didn't share this with you though. Recently, and we're still pending, we're still waiting, but recently, Sonia and I collaborated on a proposal.
Yay!
Yeah, we're waiting to hear back, but we just mentioned about partnerships and collaborations. Like that's the move right now, and I'm leaning into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So my word for 2023 was community. My word for 2022 is community. Word for 2023 is reciprocity, and I feel like it's all in that same kind of mix of like, I'm out of altruism, like altruistically kind of giving things to you, and then I know things are going to come back to me. And I think that, we've seen that. And I think the partnership element and the collaboration element, like you mentioned, Jess, she's has another nonprofit consulting group, which you all should check out. And, we each have our own niches, and we're trying to figure out like, what is the best way for us to support each other. She's constantly sending me opportunities and leads, and I'm sending stuff her way and mentioning her name in rooms. And I just feel like those who are evolving in this whatever existence that we are living in, like that's like you said, the name of the game. And I see it, like I see it's happening. I see how quickly things can happen when you're operating in the spirit of collaboration and partnership and synergy and reciprocity. And it's a beautiful thing.
And abundance, right? Like to lean into all of that you just said, you have to also just be in the mindset of there's enough for all of us. Like there's enough work, there's enough money, there's enough energy, like there's enough creativity, there's just an abundance of everything. And when you adopt that mindset, Jess, one of the things I really like and appreciate about Jess Campbell is her transparency. I'm on her email list, and when I tell you, she'll tell you how she did an event from A to B. Like she takes you behind the scenes, and she is so open in sharing about that. But I think that comes from just like knowing that there's enough. Like that leaning into enoughness helps you to be generous, helps to cultivate that spirit of generosity
and not exist in fear, which I think is life-changing in all ways, to be honest with you. I've been thinking a lot about that. So we started this conversation very philosophically, which like we went deep fast. We went deep fast. Like all of my friends, like, when we're sitting around having wine or whatever, or smoothies, right? That's kind of where we end up going. But so let's talk about you, because I really want, any folks out there who end up watching this on the YouTube channel or on our LinkedIn to see, again, the brilliance who is behind these Katalyst doors, what you have to offer. I want people to hire you. I want people to learn about your experience and be sort of inspired by your journey. Hi, Kiara. I see we have Kiara in the room too. And I think one thing I would love to talk about you that I think is unique in this consulting space. There's several others in our group who are in this situation, but you're still working full time. And you came to us working full time, sort of, wanting to explore a little bit in your off time, this other consulting coaching world. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that experience for you, that decision for you, how you navigate that. I think that would be really valuable to anybody else who sort of might be, towing that line, not ready or even wanting to leave their full-time sort of 9-to-5 W-2, but wanting to sort of create some autonomy, outside of that. So tell us a little bit about your experience there.
Because I remember you commenting on a LinkedIn. I forget what the actual topic was, but she was like, them W-2s have a chokehold. I was like, yes, they do. So I have been I have been working in nonprofit professionally for over 17 years. I've never actually done anything else. I only know nonprofit. And it's been a really great journey. I've worked with a lot of different organizations, different sizes, different areas, sectors, and in different roles. And along the way, I've been doing one-off freelance contracts with folks to do grant writing, development planning. And then, like a lot of people, similar, to your story too, I think, is that 2020 came. And
like a tsunami,
like came in like
or like a wrecking ball.
Right? And like shifted some things. And what really happened is like for me, just emphasize like, number one, I need another revenue stream. like, although I feel secure, I do feel secure in my 9 to 5. You don't know what happened. Like, people were being let go, like things were happening. I work in the education sector, and so, schools had shut down and people were leaving left and right, and people were being let go. So it was, this sort of like, I need something else. I need something else. And because I have been doing the nonprofit fundraising, fund development, grant writing, strategic planning, because I have been doing it one off for so long, if it was finally time for me to formalize it. And so in 2021, March 2021, I incorporated my consulting firm, In Spirit Coaching and Consulting, and we work with Black women and women of color that are leading social change to help them design plans to build thriving and resilient organizations without burning themselves out. Because one of the things that I know as a recovering burnout is that in order to move forward in peace and without overwhelm, prioritizing yourself and rest, you got to be really clear on your priorities. You've got to be really clear on your why, and you got to be really clear about your vision, right? And so that's what I really work with my clients to do, is bring clarity to their work. I work with a lot of really passionate women who enter the work because they have very strong feelings and very strong ideas about how to create change, how to liberate people, right? And sometimes they enter that work just driven by the passion, not with a real plan. And so I'm really working with a lot of my clients to bring clarity around action. And so I have a membership group, Inspirited Leaders. It is for Black women and women of color, and it's a similar community, kind of the Katalyst for women of color leading social change, where it's a space where you can come and be yourself. You don't have to show up as this super refined leader or this person who knows it all, because we don't. And you can just kind of, take your earrings off and we can have dialogue. But I'm also helping facilitating conversations around vision, theory of change. Like, we talk about also the very practical things that help to build thriving, successful organizations. And so that work like really enlivens me, and inspirits me. That's, inspirit means to breathe life into. And so I found, working with a lot of people in nonprofit, that you come to a point where you're like, why am I doing this work? You're kind of just slogging along. And I really want to come in to help breathe life into your vision and your why, and to help reignite that passion and fire for you to keep moving forward. So I am doing that on, and to your point, I do it on, it's a side right now. So I do most of the work like after hours. I do, my 9 to 5, and then after hours, I do coaching calls and I do my work for leads and proposals and all of that sort of after hours. And it's hard. It's really, really hard. I don't want to make it sound like it's easy.
And you also have a toddler. Let's be real about
I
that.
was just gonna say, I also have a 3-year-old. And so really, like right now, I've been intentional about taking a little pause in my business development activities. I'm still, the community is still going. We're still facilitating calls and doing the coaching community. But in terms of like business development and stuff, I've taken a bit of a pause because the work in my 9 to 5 has ramped up with the close of a fiscal year and start of a new one. So this is a super busy season, and just to protect myself, to take care of myself, I decided to, like, okay, I'm just not going to be able to focus on this right now. So, and that was a hard decision.
I mean, but isn't that a gift too? Like, you know, I, in this entrepreneurial space, I talk all the time, like my seasons, like there are some times where I'm like going hard and hustling and ready to go, but there are times where I'm just like, I just can't right now. And sometimes that lasts a day, sometimes it lasts 3 days. And I've just started, it's not like seamless and perfect, but I've just started giving myself permission to accept and embrace the seasons. And, you know, I feel like that's such a gift to be able to get to that point where you're like, okay, I can shift, you know, my attention and energy to this because I can only do so much. Where I think before, a lot of us were just trying to do all the things. And, you know, like you said, recovering burnout person, like that is a lot of us.
Yeah.
We gotta, you know, have to prevent that. So I'm going to be very transparent. I did not bring my charger in here. And I just got the little notice that my battery is going
about to die.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I am in Maryland. I'm home for about a month this summer. My mother is in the other room, so I'm gonna text Myra and see if she can bring me my charger. So excuse me for 1 second, so I don't have to run away from you. Could you please bring my charger? It's on the dining room. Okay, sorry.
It's really
Lord. So this is me, everyone. Like hot mess at times.
Sometimes it's what it is.
So hopefully she can get that to me. If not, then I'm going to sprint out and get that before this cuts off. Or that'll just be the end of our discussion. But anyway, I like to keep this short.
Abruptly, y'all. It was great having this conversation.
And where can people find you, Jolea? Let's do that now.
Yep. So I am on Instagram at inspirit4change. And I'm also on LinkedIn at Jolea Payne. So you can find me in both places.
Okay.
Admittedly, I'm not on LinkedIn the way I want to be or need to be, but you can find me there too.
You know, there's no should. You shouldn't. There's no way that you should be. It's wherever you're comfortable and wherever, you know, doesn't drain as much energy from you. So if LinkedIn is draining you, find another place, and that'll be your place.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about. So we talked about, you know, how you're here. So you and I also connected. I think we presented at a conference.
Yeah,
it was what's the name
of the Sister Network,
Sister
Nonprofit Network.
It was the Nonprofit Network, and they had the Sister Summit last year. And you had this framework that you were presenting. And when everybody came back from the breakouts, they were like, "Oh, that 4-step framework, or that whatever the framework was. I forgot what it's called. You're going to tell us about it." But they were like, "We really enjoyed Jolea's session." So tell us about that. And then you came and presented it to the Katalyst group as well, sort of in the incubator space of, like, you know, for feedback and things like that. So tell us about that. And actually, while you're talking about that, I'm going to go get my charger. So tell us about that. And then we'll take it from there and see how we're doing with time.
Okay. Sounds good. And so I think what really sort of inspired people, so it's, I call it the VIP framework to living and leading authentically. And I think what really sort of got people going at the Sister Summit about it is that a lot of people don't take the time to don't dedicate time to think about their vision for their future, either in work or even in their personal life. Don't take the time to think intentionally about what their vision is. And so a lot of people were lighting up as they were sharing. I offered time during that session to in space to really think about your vision. And a lot of people were lighting up, just sharing about what their vision was. And then we use that vision to help us think about what are our values. And so VIP is values, intentions, and people. So what are your core values? What are the things that drive you? And in thinking about what your values are, I encourage people to think about what are the things that get you excited? What are the things that bring you joy? What are the things that really piss you off? What are the things that you feel like you want to do something about right now? And thinking about how that translates into your values. I really love to be in community with Black women and women of color. And so that is one of my values. Community is one of my values. Like I thrive. I get my energy from being in community with people and creating spaces for people to feel belonging and all of that. The next one is then intention. Like, how do you embody your values with intention in your actions, your day to day actions, and like all of that you're doing to help move you towards your vision? It doesn't just happen sort of, there's no happenstance around it. Like, you have to be intentional about moving toward your vision. And the reason that I start with values is because you want to be intentional about taking action in a way that aligns with your values. And how do your values then also inform the decisions you make about what you're doing, how you're focusing your time, who are the people that you're giving your time and energy to? It impacts all of that. And then the final one is people, and it's looking at, do you have a Katalyst community in your world? Because you might should find one. Like, who are the people in your world that are pouring into you? Who are the people in your world that you can look to for thought partnership, for mentorship, for guidance? Who are the people that you can laugh with, be yourself with, celebrate with? And then who are the people that can also help you get to the next step, whatever that is for you, that can help you move along the journey towards your vision. And being intentional about, in a very genuine way, not in a way that like you're using people, but being intentional about cultivating the right relationships, um, and nurturing them, uh, whether you use them or not for your next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've stopped doing this like networking for networking's sake.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the time for it anymore. I don't have the energy. Like I just don't want to do it anymore. I am about building real relationships. And whatever comes of it, right? Like I'm not going into it anymore of like, what can I get from, like, what can I get out of this person? Or what can this person do for me? It's really more just now about like, this person seems cool and aligned. Let me learn some more about this person. And maybe we'll find some opportunities to do something together, or maybe not. Maybe
Or
we'll just
maybe they'll just tell you about the farmer's market down the street, and that's fine. And I mean, it's all about that. I mean, like, it's seriously, that human connection is where we at right now.
that's
You know.
where that's where we at. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
we've been talking about it, those partnerships and collaborations. I'm seeing it everywhere. Everybody's talking about partnerships and collaborations.
Mm-hmm.
And in the nonprofit space, we've talked about partnership. We talk about partnership a lot, but I'm seeing like this resurgence even in business. People are talking about collaborations and everything. And so, really finding your community, because you can, to help build you up and to sustain you in doing whatever it is you're doing.
So your VIP method, are you presenting that? Can people reach out to you to speak with their groups or speak with their leaders, or how would you like to see that used and utilized?
Yeah, I would love to come into, social change organizations, um, to present to boards, to present to staff, communities. Um, you know, I'm open to it. I think it applies to almost anybody. Emerging leaders. I've gotten good reception from emerging leader groups about it, because again, it's an opportunity for people who may not have given time to think about, well, what is my vision, what is the vision for myself, and what are my values. That it creates that space and prompts the questions for consideration that help you get to some of those answers. And so, but it also works with boards. Like, what are our values and what are our intentions for this organization leading this organization into its next season or helping it to expand or all of those things. So,
and then the people element, I would think with organizations thinking about asset mapping and community mapping, like who, like you said, if you're starting out with the values and the mission and like what your goals are and stuff, like you need people to get you there. And where I've seen a lot of organizations get stuck in our space is doing the same old and not recognizing that there are people in their sphere of influence and sphere of whatever, that have access to the communities that they need access to, or who understand the community needs that they, that they don't directly have an understanding of. So I would assume that, undergoing this sort of practice and exercise could be valuable in that way of growth and expansion for our industry and our field.
yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely. And just even looking at your community, how are you engaging with the people in your community? How are you involving them in the planning and in the visioning? How are you involving the people in the community that you work in? How are you involving them in the visioning and in the development of theory of change for your organization? Like those are the people who you should be actively engaging in your planning process, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yep.
So I'm gonna plug like the people in our community who might be listening. If you guys are going after strategic planning programs, like you can subcontract with Jolea here to do an element of her VIP training as part of that strategy session with the board or with the organization. So I think there are ways for us to figure out what lane we are good in and figure out how to work together, figure out how to build together. I think we're all, we don't come into this nonprofit space with a hardened heart. Most of us are we're hard on our sleeves kind of people and want to see good and do good and support. So I can't wait to hear about all of the amazing things that come your way, and keep us updated on all of that and how we can support, how the community can support anybody watching. If this resonated, Jolea, tell one more time, because we talked about when I was going to get my charger, how people can contact you.
Yep. So you can contact me on Instagram at Inspirit for Change, INSPIRIT for Change.
Or FOR or number 4?
FOR spelled out, Inspirit for Change. You can also email me at Jolea, JOLEA, at inspiritconsulting.com. And then you can find me, Jolea Payne, on LinkedIn.
Okay, I think this was great. Let's end it here. Is there anything else that we did not get a chance to talk about that you want to share? Do you feel like we covered it? Do you feel like we got a little bit of glimpse of who you are and the community and how you can serve people? Anything else?
I just want to hype you up a little bit. Like, even this, you saw an opportunity, you saw folks were engaging with your LinkedIn, and the thought that you had was, let me see how I can use this to help my Katalyst community. And that is the spirit that you operate in. And I appreciate you so much. And I appreciate the Katalyst community. And if anybody is thinking about joining the Katalyst community, it's not just a come in and talk kind of thing, not, random posts. It's not another Facebook. Like, there are real opportunities happening in Katalyst for business development, for partnership and collaboration. And then there's also really good coaching, executive coaching. So just definitely appreciate you leaning into your vision and staying committed. Appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, on that note, try and stay cool in this hottest July of the world history in Texas, which is insane. Climate change is real.
Climate change is real, y'all. Don't let them tell you different.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We're looking at we talked about this when we started, the fires from Canada and its impact in DC when I first got here for the summer. So anyway, everybody take care of yourself, stay cool. Congratulations on your work and the balance, and good luck with the work and the balance.
Right.
And we'll see you on the inside of our community, if not elsewhere. All right. Thank you so much. We're 2-2 now. Okay.
You're on a streak.
I'm on a streak. We got 4 people up in here. All right. I'll talk to you later. Thank you, Jolea.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, Elizabeth and Kiara. Bye. Bye, everybody.